Good morning. Good morning. It's wonderful to be back in this magnificent city. I've got a huge amount of love and admiration for the people of Liverpool, and that is saying somewhat, because in a previous life I was known, despite being regarded as somewhat serene these days, as a sort of borderline psychotic Stretford End United fan. But since the gap between Mammon and God got preposterously wide in the Premier League, I've abandoned all of that. But my love for Liverpool remains. The Lord's been opening doors, and all we've done is walk through them. So the bit of scripture that's on my heart is, see, I have placed before you an open door that no one can shut. And when I tell my secular friends that that's a line from Revelation 3, I think a lot of them think I'm talking about an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie franchise that they've missed out on. But it has been an amazing journey, and it has been full of joy and blessing for absolutely every one of us who's been involved. Very briefly, on the 4th of September 2015, the Holy Spirit prompted a few people separately in our parish in St Monica's in Flixton to stand up for refugees. And we all started sharing the same prompting by email on that day. The very next day, His Holiness Pope Francis made his call to every European Catholic parish to welcome and look after a refugee family. So we knew then that something was occurring, and we are now, in my view, on the cusp of a seismic shift in the way that this nation and many others around the world approach the global migration crisis, one of the greatest crises we face in the world today. The community sponsorship scheme offers a unique opportunity for parishes to step into that position of owning the journey in its entirety, from a family landing at an airport through to them being entirely settled, happy, working, speaking English, children happy in school, and crucially being a valued and much treasured member of their own local community. It's a unique thing. You've heard the basic details. It's about providing a high quality independent family home and some support funding, and of course an intensive programme of wraparound support for up to 2 years, or until that family is independent and able to live entirely without that support. There are 5 sort of key areas that we've identified that make up the resettlement journey, and I know Steve wanted me to particularly focus on these 5 areas for later learning and workshops that we're going to be doing in Liverpool in a few weeks' time. So they are accommodation, finance, family welfare, education, and employment and benefits. And in St Monica's we had 25 people stepped up to be part of the sponsorship group. You don't need that many. We're very blessed to have that many people. I would say 10 to 12 is enough. 25 is magnificent. But we split those people into those 5 areas, sort of all operating to make sure that we deliver quite an involved resettlement plan in each of those areas. So I'll come back to that in a minute. The scheme's based on the Canadian model, as you've heard. They've got over 20 years worth of data in Canada to draw on, and the outcomes for refugees are vastly superior to any other methodology they've tried. I'll give you an example. There's 50% of privately sponsored refugees in Canada are in paid employment within 12 months. 2/3 are in paid employment within 2 years. Going back to St Monica's, we are blessed and fortunate to be the first parish in the UK to welcome a Syrian refugee family. They are a heart-meltingly delightful family of 5 with 3 young children from Homs. And as I said, the whole experience has been an utter delight for us. The progress made by our family to date has been astonishing. I'll come back to the detail on that in a second. There seem to me to be 3 sort of key things, keys to success, if you like. Number 1, very simply, love. The love of an entire community. It's the gospel message. It's very powerful, and anyone can do it. Secondly, engaging the whole community. In Canada, they talk about having mobilised hundreds of thousands of people over the last 20 years in this private sponsorship scheme. It is a people's project in Canada, and one they can be very proud of. And that's the key difference, I think, in our care. I mean, there's so many examples beyond our parish. When we were given a lift from the airport, collecting our family, the taxi driver was earwigging the conversation. It turned out he lived just across the green from where the family's home is. He was like, absolutely fantastic what you're doing. Give us a shout, I'm at number 54. That was the first reaction we got. Then we had the local barbers picked up on what we were doing and offered to give free haircuts to the three chaps in the family. We had a local cafe who learnt how to say welcome in Arabic, ahlan wa haslan, and greeted the family with that and a round of applause the first time they went into the cafe. It has been a real whole of community approach and a wonderful blessing for that. And thirdly, I think it's just a matter of detailed planning and preparation, as we heard from Michaeli and Stuart, and we can help you with that. It's now my job with Caritas Salford to coordinate for the Catholic Church nationally, so we can help you every step of the way with the detail that's required. When people say to me, what's it actually like to be a community sponsor? I say, well, how does this grab you? Transforming the lives of a family that's lost everything, whilst utterly transforming our own lives and the life of our parish, all to a soundtrack of joy, songs, jokes and raucous laughter. What's not to like? That is absolutely what it's been like. I'll just give you a bit of a flavour of that with some quotes and some anecdotes. Some of these you'll find in the Mancunian version of the Book of Wisdom. The best thing I've ever done in my whole life. I can't get out of bed fast enough in the morning. There's no better feeling than seeing our family smiling and full of joy, knowing what they've experienced. There are far too many wonderful moments in the last 4.5 months for us to mention, but I'll just give you a few examples. The two boys are aged 6 and 7. At the airport, they'd come from a long 2-stage flight from Beirut. Never been on a plane before, couldn't speak a word of English, must have been exhausted, and yet they made a point of going around high-fiving everybody they could find in our group, a team from the Home Office, somebody from Citizens, and various other people. They were so excited. There's a very clever little girl, a 3-year-old girl in the family. She couldn't speak a word of English, although she's doing very well at nursery school now. But she has this wonderful sort of array of Rowan Atkinson-esque faces that she pulls at very inappropriate moments, like we're doing a complicated benefits meeting and she's trying to distract me with this now. There's been loads of singing. We've had a scratch vocal group in the house comprising 2 rather battle-weary Mancunians, an elderly Iraqi interpreter, the 3-year-old girl that I mentioned, and the Bishop of Salford singing a raucous round of Frere Jacques. We've had the family being driven through Manchester, busy streets of Manchester, singing heads, shoulders, knees and toes, because our education team have got them singing all these wonderful songs. Last night we took them all to a St. Patrick's Day celebration, and the 2 boys were on the microphone singing the calendar song by Boney M. This is what they've learned, how they've learned all the months of the year. You know, these are just amazing, priceless moments. In terms of the progress that they've made so far in 4.5 months, the 3 children are now very settled and happy and hugely popular in a local school. It's walking distance from the house. The dad could only speak a few words of English when he arrived. He is now well on the way to being fluent, I kid you not. And Mum, who was very shy, couldn't speak a word when she first arrived, is now talking to us on the phone and rapidly catching up with Dad. At one point, a few weeks in, to give you an idea of the Dad's progress, we had another sort of rather lugubrious Mancunian benefits advisor who'd been there a long time. Right, morning, Sean. But he was so taken with the progress of Samir that he stood up and walked round the desk and shook his hand. Well done, mate. This is unique to me in our local job centre. He's a wonderful chef, very talented chef and very experienced. He's now cooking as a volunteer chef in residence at the Holy Name Catholic Church in Manchester City Centre for the Boaz Night Shelter. So he's cooking this wonderful food for refugees and asylum seekers. So how about that for sort of giving back within a few months? And we're well on the way to putting into place plans to set him up with his own pop-up Syrian restaurant using the Catholic chaplaincy premises on a sort of trial basis for 5 months, starting in May. So this is fantastic progress. Community sponsorship is a unique opportunity for the people of God. It is an opportunity for us to work in a partnership of genuine mutual trust and cooperation with people at the heart of government. Stuart mentioned the Home Office team, the resettlement team. They have been absolutely magnificent, and I'm talking as somebody who's never ever been on the right in politics, and this is a Conservative administration, but the people that we've been working with have absolutely been first class. And, you know, when trust is at an all-time low in politics, you know, this is a way in to rekindling that trust, in my view, that partnership between ordinary people and people in government. And of course, it's an opportunity for us to rewrite the damaging and wholly untrue narrative that British people are not welcoming and are fearful of the stranger. There are so many ways in which we are blessed by this opportunity. As I said, I'm now employed full-time by Caritas Salford and by CSAN nationally to coordinate community sponsorship for the Catholic Church. And I've already been working hard alongside Steve and others to broker the relationships you're going to need to work for you, as Ronnie said, particularly with the local authorities here in Liverpool. We've made a very good start in that respect. When we started on that journey in Manchester, they've got a strategic migration partnership in Manchester that works across all 10 of the Greater Manchester local authorities. And when we had our first meeting with them, the reception that we got was somewhat frosty, to say the least. It was a bit of a case of who are these do-gooders from nowhere, we're the experts, we've been doing this for years. They were a bit frosty. We've gone from there to them sending glowing emails hither and thither about what a magnificent scheme this is, and phoning us up, asking us if we can help them with street homelessness in the borough of Trafford, where our family lives. So, you know, all things are possible. They work very closely with the Strategic Migration Partnership from Merseyside, and they've already put us in touch with key people there. We're talking to the likes of Frank Hont. I know he's a very big fan of the churches in Liverpool. And it was simply a case of identifying, as Steve said, 2 or 3 parishes to go forward. We tell them where those pilots are going to take place in Merseyside. And I am very confident that you will get the green light from local authorities, and then it's over to you, and there's your opportunity to prove that this scheme really works. Last, I'll just leave you with a few other tips from our experience. This isn't rocket science. Anyone can do community sponsorship. The vast bulk of it is stuff that we can all do standing on our heads. We all know how to furnish and fit out a new home. We can all make people feel welcome. We can all show people around our local area, show them the bus times, register them with a GP and a dentist, set them up at the job centre and so on. Vast chunks of community sponsorship are really a straightforward matter. There are some aspects of it, of course, that require a bit more in the way of specialist knowledge, and it's wonderful to have the likes of Ronnie and people here that we can talk to and learn from their long experience. We do need to do some research on how the benefit system works and how do you apply for school places, and crucially about ESOL, because the sponsorship scheme puts the adults in your family straight into quite intensive ESOL tuition, so you need to understand all of that. But if you have got people in your parish who've got teaching experience or teaching skills, and you can support their ESOL learning, that will be, in our experience, what we found is as good, better in some ways, than their ESOL college teaching, which is obviously curriculum-led, and they're not going to adjust their college programme for 2 new people who might arrive halfway through a course. Our ESOL teachers in our education group have made astonishing progress because they've done a sort of custom, bespoke ESOL teaching going into the house 4 times a week, and it's really paying dividends. So don't underestimate what you can do to help the family with their English journey. The relationships you need to build, I've mentioned that with the local authority. There are lots of different organisations that you will need to work closely with and build those relationships, because they really will pay dividends for you. Teamwork and democracy is hugely important. Yes, you need to have a structure for your group. Yes, you need to allocate specific roles to people, but give everybody a voice. There is a space for everyone in your parish to be part of community sponsorship. we've got people in our group who are in their 80s, and when we've had difficult decisions to make about things like media coverage and so on, it's those older, experienced voices that have been absolutely priceless in those discussions. So include everyone and give everyone a voice. Right, okay, I think I'll leave it there other than just to say there's one final thing. I think if there's one overall magic ingredient so far for us, it's this, that there is a balance to be struck. And it's slightly different from the balance that Ronnie's talking about. I get that all day long. It's very important that we empower people, and we understand that we need to learn that lesson. But the balance with community sponsorship, I think, is more a balance between always loving and cherishing your family. They must become part of your community and be just the same as the rest of us, and every bit as loved and welcomed and belonging. But always be professional and diligent. Certainly in the first year, 2 years, when you are their community sponsor, you're responsible for their well-being at the end of the day. So it's that balance between the two. Don't be in too much of a hurry to engage with them just as friends, because at the outset, you're not just their friends. That friendship will grow organically over the period of the first year, 2 years of sponsorship. But be diligent, attention to detail, report everything, safeguarding, all of those things are really important. If you get that balance right, then you can't go wrong. Best of luck to everybody. I will support you all the way, as will Caritas Salford. The people of Liverpool will have no problem whatsoever, that's for sure.
Sean, could you say those 5 aspects again?
Yes, so it's accommodation, finance, family welfare, education, and employment and benefits.
Thank you.
Can I tell you, they're on the last sheet in your there.
Thank you.
Underneath that picture.
Thanks for listening anyway. Best of luck.
Thank you to our speakers. Now, we're actually a little bit ahead of time, so what I'd like to suggest is